Oh, no, no.
Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Delicious apple juice. It's 1:30 in the morning and I'm filming my video because I want you all to have a video that you can enjoy on a Sunday, because that's how committed I am to each and every individual one of you. And also, it's the Euros, which is a big football tournament here in Europe at the moment, and my boyfriend and I were working until 11 at supper club, and then we went to our friend's house to watch the football. I had a bit of a snooze, and now we're home and I was like, oh god, I've got to film too. So here I am filming, makeup on my face, all over the place. But excitingly today, as it's halfway through the year, I'm going to be talking to you about my favourite books of the year so far. So I have got here 2, 4, 6. I've got 6 of my favourite books. This video is supposed to be entitled Top 5 Books of 2016 so far. There's 6 books here, and I've got another as an honourable mention. So yeah, so we could just get straight into it. It's halfway through the year and I like to do a sort of like books that I've read so far that I've really enjoyed, because then at the end of the year I find it very interesting also to talk about the books that I've enjoyed the whole year and to see if any of these books make it, which I'm absolutely certain they will. Like, I've read some bloody good books in the first half of the year. But first of all, we'll start off with the honourable mention that shouldn't really be in this sort of top 6, this sort of best books of that I've read so far, because it is a reread, but I couldn't not mention it because I just absolutely adored reading it so much. So the first book that I want to talk about, which doesn't really, it won't be in my top 10 books of 2016 because it is a reread and reread shouldn't count, but I absolutely adored reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling earlier this year. So I got this for my birthday last year and I've just been really looking forward to reading it, and read it at the beginning of this year. I've done, like I've talked about it before, I've done little markers of what my favourite bits. Some of my favourite pictures are Diagon Alley. I absolutely love the portrayal of Diagon Alley in this. This is exactly how I imagined it to be. Flourish and Blots, it just all looks amazing. I also really like the, this is the cover picture, which is Platform 9 3/4 with little owlsies on it and things like that. Absolutely adored it. I just could look at this all day. Hagrid's Hut, which is also beautiful. These are just my favourites. And oh yeah, this page has got like lots of keys with little wings on. They're absolutely lovely. I cannot wait for the rest of these to come out, and I saw that they are releasing the Chamber of Secrets in October, so this will forever, my birthday's in November, so this will forever be going on my birthday list, on my Christmas list, and just getting them always. But I had to mention it because this was just such a new reading experience for me. I adore Harry Potter, and just being able to read it in just a slightly different way was just an absolute treat. So I couldn't not mention it because although this is a reread, it has been one of my favourite books so far of 2016. So the next ones are in no particular order, although I have a clear favourite book that I've read this year, so I will mention that one last. But we'll start with the books that I have here, because a lot of these were library books, or they're books that I've lent out because I loved them so much. So you would have heard me mention these before this year because I've been raving on about them. So the first one is a play, the first play that I'd ever read, called Skylight by David Hare. I read this during Genrethon, and as plays were a genre that I hadn't read before, I really wanted to make an effort to read one. And David's sister and a friend of mine, Laurel, from work, had both been to see this play with Carey Mulligan and Bill Nye. I always forget Bill Nye's name. It is about a pair of people. It's set in Kyra's flat, the whole thing, and talks about Kyra and Bill. They used to work. Kyra and Bill. His name's not bloody Bill, his name's Tom. Bill's his real name in real life. Kyra and Tom used to work with one another, and they had an affair, and then you don't really find out what happened, but basically Kyra sort of upped and left, and the whole family is very dependent on her, and it's just a really good character study, and so much happens and so much background in, like, it's not even 100 pages, I don't think. It is 100 pages, it's 104 pages, so much happens, and like I really regret not going to see this at the theatre because I bet it was absolutely incredible, and I just love this. It was a really great introduction to plays for me, and I've since read another play, and I absolutely flew through this. I read this in one sitting and adored it, so that is one of my top 5 books of the year. The other one, the next one is something a bit different. So this is a children's book called The Fox and the Star by Coralie Bickford-Smith. This won Waterstone's Book of the Year last year, and it is a children's picture book with a lovely story about a fox and a star, and the illustrations in this are just unbelievable. So Coralie Bickford-Smith is, she designs the front covers, which you probably would be able to recognise from this, for the Penguin Cloth Bound Classics, of which I own 2, 4, 6, 8. of which I own 8. And her, I mean, look at this. Look at that. This is just lovely. David and I read this to one another one night. Look, the little fox with all the leaves and everything. It's just beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. This is just an absolute treat for adults and children. David, did you buy this for Valentine's Day?
No, I think it was anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Sing it.
Happy anniversary.
Good. He bought this for me for my anniversary, and we read it one night. I had a little cry, didn't I?
You did.
It's just a really beautiful story, and it's just so beautifully illustrated. Like, this is literally perfection for me. This is just, in fact, I feel like I want to sit down and read it again because I loved it so much. But this is for children and adults alike. It's a beautiful piece of art. I actually have this out on my shelves on my wall because I just can't not look at it. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. Absolutely adore it. So yeah, that's another great one I've read this year. The next ones are ones that I don't actually have with me. So the first one is, and am I going to go on about it again? Yes, I am. I'm going to have a drink first though. The Year of Living Danishly by Helen Russell is an audiobook I've listened to, which is the best audiobook I've ever listened to be honest. It is about a woman who whose husband gets a job working for Legoland, and they move to rural Jutland, which is a place in rural Denmark, and Helen Russell talks about her year of living in Denmark, and it's just laid out like it was bloody written for me. It just talks about like all the shit that I would want to know if I were to move to Denmark, which I quite wouldn't mind doing. David, do you want to move to Denmark?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go now. And it's just like, so it's laid out in months. So she moves to Denmark in January, and within the January month, they talk about how not many people in Denmark leave the house, and they have this thing called hygge, which is like coziness and like to be cozy and like just. So they talk about that in January, and then there's another month she finds out she's pregnant, so they talk about the healthcare system in there, and then they talk about the education system, they talk about food in Denmark. It's just laid out brilliantly, and I really enjoyed it, and I really looked forward to my car journey to and from work because I just loved, and I feel like I learned a lot about it, and I was literally like going to people like, I've been listening to my audiobook about Denmark, and in Denmark they do this, and I've been listening to my audiobook about Denmark, and just talking about Denmark all the time, and it's really sort of led me on a sort of Scandinavian love fest, and I've since got out other books from the library, and Helen Russell's got another one coming out in December, which I think might be about Denmark again. There's no description about it on Amazon at the moment. That was a hiccup, I do apologise. So that, I really loved it. It's a non-fiction one, and I just think it's great to, like, my time driving to and from work is the perfect time to get some information in my brain, and I really loved getting that Denmark information in my brain. So very good. The next one is a book called Fishnet by Kerstin Innes. I got this out as a library book, and I really enjoyed it. It is a fiction story about a girl whose sister has gone missing, and when she looks into, and she's revisiting the case because she goes to a hen do in the town where her sister was last living, and when she looks deeper into it, it turns out that her sister was working as a sex industry worker. And this book I thought was going to be sort of like cut and dry, like crime thriller or mystery or something, that someone went missing and then it happens in the past and now they're looking at new evidence and then she's looking for her sister and things like that. But it wasn't like that at all. It was a very educational, sensible look at the sex industry, and I found it really, like, it answered some questions I didn't even really know I had about the sex industry, and like, as I said, it was really educational and sensible and written in an enjoyable way that I was able to really process it. So, as I said, it was a fiction book, so it was written as a narrative, as a story, but within that they had some blog posts or emails or newspaper articles and things like that. And the main character of it, Fiona, because her sister Rona, because her sister Fiona's gone missing. You follow her story and things like that, and I really enjoyed it. It actually took me by surprise how much I did enjoy it. I got it out from the library last year, but didn't get round to reading it, and I'm so pleased I did get round to reading it because it really stayed with me for a long time afterwards. And I've been telling quite a few people to read it because it was quite different to anything I'd read before. Really enjoyed that. That's Fishnet by Kerstin Innes. Well done, Kerstin Innes. So, So the next book is a graphic novel by Adrian Tamine. It is called Killing and Dying. I don't have it here with me, which is a crying shame because it has got an amazing Perspex cover, which I absolutely adore. I've lent it to my friend Alex because he wanted to read a few more graphic novels. I thought this would be a really great place to start. And I do think it would be a really great place to start if you haven't read graphic novels before. So it's got 6 short stories within it, which as a concept I really, really enjoy already, that then you've got some short stories in there. I adore Adrian Tamine's artwork. It is amazing, and I will try to... No, I won't be able to do that because Alex has got the thingy. Forget. If you want to look at his artwork, you have to look it up yourself. His artwork is amazing. I really, really like his style and his simplicity and the colour palettes he uses, quite muted tones, and the stories within this really, I really enjoyed. And I just thought it was a really great read, and I really, really loved it. And found it really great. Like, one of the best stories in there I found was it was a story called Amber Sweet, which is about a woman who looks like a porn star, and she's forever going out and men are looking at her and sort of like nudging each other, and or like really giving her smiley looks and things like that because they know she reminds them of someone but can't remember who, and like it really affects her. And then one day she meets this porn star, and I just thought it was a really great story. I loved all the stories in there. I was really, really pleased with it and enjoyed it. So, the bestest book I've read this year, and this will come as no surprise for those that have been watching my channel because I posted an individual review on it and how much I loved it, is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. So I adored this book, and the more time I spend away from it, the more I'm able to process it and able to think about how much I really did enjoy it, and how much I want to reread it, even though I only read it last month. I read it last month. So it tells the story of a Korean woman who decides that she wants to become a vegetarian, which is unheard of basically in Korean culture. It's never told from the lady who wants to become the vegetarian. It's never told from her perspective. It's told from 3 perspectives. The perspective of her husband, her brother-in-law, and her sister, and it basically like documents her her journey into vegetarianism and also her mental decline. And it's a very short little book, less than 200 pages, and just really, really well written, really, really sticks with you, and I adored it. I will link my review down below because I'm able to be much more coherent in a longer space of time there. But I really, really loved it. It recently won the Man Booker International Prize, which is amazing, and the lady who translated it from the Korean had only started to teach herself Korean in 2010, so taught herself Korean, and in six years, well, within 6 years, has managed to translate a Man Booker award-winning book, which is amazing. So those are my favourite books of 2016 so far. What are your favourite books of 2016 so far? Have any of you read the books that I've talked about? Has anybody of you? I'll have a drink. Have any of you enjoyed them? And I would love to hear from you down below in the comments box, and I will see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye!